It's the battle of the century, Rimuru Tempest vs Sun Jinwoo. Now, if you're a fan of isekai or just like watching characters beat the stuffing out of each other, you've probably heard of Rimuru Tempest from That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, and Sun Jinwoo from Solo Leveling. These two are like the gods of their respective worlds, and imagining them duking it out is enough to make any anime fan giddy with excitement. We've got Rimuru Tempest, the slimy hero from That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. Now, don't let the slime thing fool you. This guy's got skills. He's like a walking encyclopedia of abilities. He can absorb stuff, dissolve it, and then slap it back together like some kind of slime wizard. And if you think losing a limb is a big deal, think again. Rimuru got self-regeneration on lockdown, so he can grow back whatever he loses. First up, we've got the universal thread. Rimuru's sticky steel threads are resistant to pretty much everything under the sun, and they can be controlled telepathically. Then comes the infinite regeneration. We're talking about regenerating not just the body, but also the spiritual and the astral bodies, and even the soul. And nothing can interfere with it. It's like having a heal me button. You know how sometimes you wish you had a clone to do all the boring stuff while you chill? Well, Rimuru can make that happen, but with a twist. They're stronger and tougher than the original. It's his enhanced body double. And then we've got Demon Lord's Haki. No, it's got nothing to do with One Piece. Sorry to burst your bubble. This skill is all about exuding massive spiritual pressure. It's so intense that if you're too weak, you might just keel over and say goodbye to the world. Then we've got Raphael, the Lord of Wisdom. Think of Raphael as Rimuru's personal supercomputer / genius AI. It can do parallel processing, predict attacks like nobody's business, and basically outsmart anyone and everyone. And then there's Beelzebub, the Lord of Gluttony. This guy evolved from a skill called Gluttony, and let me tell you, he's hungry for souls. With Beelzebub around, Rimuru can chow down on souls like it's nobody's business. And if that's not enough, they've got predation, corrosion, and a souped up stomach. Rimuru could even release a dragon named Veldora from that stomach, if you can believe it. Speaking of Veldora, he's the Lord of Storms. Once Rimuru released Veldora, they became besties, sharing skills and all. With this ultimate skill, Rimuru can summon Veldora in any form, raining down storms like there's no tomorrow. Rimuru's barrier skills are like they went from flimsy cardboard to titanium reinforced steel. He had a thing called Infinity Prison that used to hold Veldora, the big dragon dude. Well, Rimuru's got some evolution going on from that, and now they've got this snazzy thing called the Universal Barrier. Basically, Rimuru can shape this barrier into whatever they darn well please. And then we have God's Wrath Megiddo. This is like the ultimate mic drop moment. Rimuru once used it to wipe out an entire army like they were ants at a picnic. Giant water constructs acting like magnifying glasses, focusing the sun's fury into a laser beam of destruction. And it's so powerful it bypasses magical defenses like they're made of tissue paper. Yeah, Rimuru isn't messing around when they unleash Megiddo. And Universal Shapeshift is Rimuru's ticket to the ultimate disguise party. He can transform into anything from a dragon to a salt shaker? It's like being a master of disguise without needing a fake mustache. Plus, he can switch to a human form, which is handy for blending in with the locals. Now, let's talk about spatial motion, or as I like to call it, teleportation light. Rimuru can zip around to places he's been before. Cancel Pain is Rimuru's ultimate party trick. He's basically immune to pain, which is like having a superpower for toughing it out. Last but not least, we've got Dark Flame Lightning. It's the combo move of Rimuru's Dark Flame and Dark Thunder upgraded to true Demon Lord status. Now, here comes Sun Jinwoo, the guy who went from being called the world's weakest hunter to becoming the ultimate powerhouse in the Solo Leveling universe. Jinwoo starts off as this frail, kind-hearted dude just trying to make ends meet for his family. He's not exactly winning any awards for his hunting skills, constantly getting banged up in those low-level portals. He's doing it all for his sister and his sick mom. Then, Jinwoo gets a wake-up call in the form of the system. Suddenly, he's not just some average Joe anymore. He's got this whole player status going on, which basically means he's got potential dripping out of every pore. With the system backing him up, Jinwoo starts leveling up. Jinwoo goes from zero to hero real quick. He's not just getting stronger, he's getting taller, beefier, and oozing confidence like a boss. As the vessel of the Shadow Monarch, he's basically the big cheese of hunters. His strength, speed, and durability? Off the charts, we're talking superhuman levels of awesomeness. And that healing factor, let's just say it saved his butt more times than he can count. Oh, and did I mention he can whip up armor and go all ninja mode with stealth techniques? Yeah, Jinwoo's basically a one-man army. But here's the real kicker, Jinwoo's the guy who rewrote the rulebook on what it means to be a badass. Sure, he's got those brooding looks and the whole defeating the strongest foes thing down pat, but there's more to him than meets the eye. Now, if you're facing off against Sun Jinwoo thinking you've got the upper hand, and then poof, he disappears into thin air like a magician's rabbit. That's right, with his stealth skill, even the big shots in the hunter world can't lay a finger on him when he decides to go all invisible mode. Now, Sun Jinwoo isn't just brawn, you know, he's got brains too. His intelligence stat isn't just for show, it's like having a supercomputer in his head. He's always one step ahead of his opponents, coming up with strategies on the fly like he's playing a game of chess while the rest of us are still figuring out how to move our pawns. The guy's got some serious strength. I mean, he punched Thomas Andre, the so-called world's strongest hunter, so hard that the poor guy probably saw stars. And don't even get me started on the Beast Monarch. Sun Jinwoo took him down like he was swatting a fly. And don't even get me started on his speed. This guy moves faster than a cheetah on Red Bull. I'm talking blink and you'll miss it kinda fast. He's dodging attacks left and right like he's playing a game of dodgeball with death itself. And let's not forget that time he outran a beam of light. Yeah, you heard me right, a beam of freaking light. Sun Jinwoo's got this nifty little ability called Shadow Extraction, which basically means he can turn his enemies into his own personal army of minions. And if that wasn't cool enough, he can also teleport using his shadows. Sun Jinwoo is also immune to pretty much anything that can harm him, thanks to his detoxification and regeneration abilities. Poison? Nah, he laughs in the face of poison. And even if he gets taken down, he'll just bounce back stronger than ever, like some kind of undead phoenix rising from the ashes. And here's where things get really interesting, his powers as a monarch. See, Sun Jinwoo isn't just any old hunter, he's got the powers of a cosmic being coursing through his veins. He can control shadows, erase his own existence, and even manipulate dimensions. And finally, we come to his true omnipotence. Sun Jinwoo isn't just a big fish in a small pond, he's the freaking ocean. With his territory of eternal rest, he's basically a god in his own little universe. I mean, sure, he might not be on the same level as DC's The Presence or Marvel's The One Above All, but he's pretty darn close. But what happens when these two powerhouses collide? Well, let's break it down. On one hand, you've got Rimuru with his sticky steel threads, infinite regeneration, and the ability to exude enough spiritual pressure to make weaklings faint. And on the other hand, you've got Jinwoo with his super strength, ninja-like stealth techniques, and an army of shadows at his beck and call. Rimuru with his universal thread would weave a web of sticky steel around Sun Jinwoo, trying to wrap him like a fly in a spider's web. But Jinwoo with his stealth techniques would slip through Rimuru's threads like a shadow in the night, evading capture with ease. With his own healing factor, courtesy of the system, Sun Jinwoo would shrug off Rimuru's attacks like they're nothing more than a mosquito bite. Rimuru might think he has the upper hand with his clones, but Jinwoo wouldn't be one to be outdone. With his strategic smarts and combat prowess, he would be able to outmaneuver Rimuru's doubles, turning the tide of battle in his favor. Rimuru's spiritual pressure might be enough to make weaker opponents buckle under the weight, but Jinwoo wouldn't be a pushover. With his unyielding willpower and determination, he would stand firm in the face of Rimuru's intimidating presence, ready to take the fight to the next level. Rimuru's got Raphael, the Lord of Wisdom, guiding their every move with precision and foresight. With Raphael's analytical prowess, Rimuru can anticipate Sun Jinwoo's next move before he even makes it. But Sun Jinwoo's no slouch in the brains department either. His intelligence stat is off the charts, allowing him to outwit even the craftiest opponents. Rimuru's universal barrier is like a fortress of magic, capable of withstanding even the most devastating attacks. But Sun Jinwoo's stealth and shadow extraction abilities could catch Rimuru off guard, slipping through their defenses like a shadow in the night. And with Sun Jinwoo's true omnipotence, he could potentially manipulate Rimuru's barriers to his advantage, turning them against their own creator. But Rimuru's got some serious firepower too. God's Wrath Megiddo is no joke. This ultimate attack could wipe out Sun Jinwoo and his shadow army in one fell swoop, leaving nothing but ashes in its wake. However, Sun Jinwoo's durability and regeneration abilities might allow him to weather the storm, emerging from the flames unscathed and ready for round 2. With universal shapeshift, Rimuru can morph into anything they desire, gaining the upper hand in a battle of wits and deception. But Sun Jinwoo's keen intellect and intuition could see through Rimuru's illusions, turning the tables on them when they least expect it. But here's where things get really interesting, Rimuru's ultimate skills versus Jinwoo's Shadow Monarch powers. Rimuru may have Raphael, Beelzebub, Veldora, and Uriel in his corner, but Jinwoo's got the Shadow Monarch backing him up. With the ability to control shadows, erase his own existence, and manipulate dimensions, Jinwoo's powers are like a cosmic force. Now, I hate to say it, but if these two were to throw down, my money would be on Sun Jinwoo. I mean, don't get me wrong, Rimuru has some serious skills, but Jinwoo's just on another level. With his raw power and combat prowess, I have a feeling he'd give Rimuru a run for his money. But who knows, maybe Rimuru's got a trick or two up his sleeve that we don't know about. Either way, one thing's for sure, if these two ever did duke it out, it would be one heck of a battle to watch. So, grab your popcorn and get ready for the Clash of the Titans.